All right. Me and Otto is going to tell the story of whenever we went to Zapata Falls. Right, Otto?
Right.
All right. So we were going to go camping in Zapata Falls, and we were going to go in our little PT Cruiser. And we converted our PT Cruiser into like a little camper because it was too cold for we thought it'd be too cold for a tent. And our little camper seemed to be just perfect to put some boards in and turn into a camper with like a bunch of sleeping bags and blankets and stuff.
Yeah.
It really worked out nice, actually.
It really did.
It's super comfortable and safe feeling even. We even have an alarm on the little PT Cruiser.
Yeah.
Anyway, we drove up a 2-mile road in this little front-wheel drive PT Cruiser. We call her Piggy. And we were going to go and camp at this campground called Zapata Falls. And this is February 10th, 2017, right over by the sand dunes in Alamosa County in Colorado. And so we were over there for like the whole day of my birthday, the 10th. Beautiful day, right, Otto? I mean, you could I walked around in my shorts and sandals. Like, you know, my, what do you call those? Sandals?
Yeah, sandals.
What do I call them that you don't like, that you don't think they should be called?
I don't.
Flip-flops or... Anyway. So, what did we do, Otto? So we smoked some Ray Charles, like a joint of Ray Charles. But we smoked like maybe like a third of that joint, and we were high and went to sleep. Slept all night, like we had a nice night. I stayed up late on my birthday till like 10 o'clock that night in the car, laying down real comfortable. Otto was sleeping. I think I did smoke a couple times, but it was like we were the only ones there on top of a mountain. How nice. So the next morning we woke up and we smoked up right away pretty much. We ate a little something and we took a nap. Now we did notice some fellow show up with a dog. Didn't think much of it. He seemed pretty safe, almost nice to have around in case you get stuck in ice or something. We took a nap and woke up and people kept passing in front of our little camp, and it was just one way in on the left side of us. People would keep coming in, and they'd go up a little ways, and they'd turn around, and they would just leave, and they kind of seemed to be staring at us. And they wouldn't wave or anything, so it was kind of seeming weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, we took a nap, and we woke up right when it was getting dark, nighttime, and we end up looking over, and there's these guys, 2 of them now, and they have 2 dogs. So it was like one of those guys must have went and got his friend or something, and they were in a different vehicle, like a little 4-door kind of like sports car, right, Otto?
Yeah.
Kind of like a little utility, kind of like a PT Cruiser, but a newer type of a thing. We have a little PT Cruiser, and these guys were walking around the camp area all around us with their like phone lights turned on and driving a car. And at one point they drove and they stopped in the entrance area with their headlights facing towards us for a while. And we were in the little PT Cruiser just hanging out and just we talked a lot. We barely smoked any. We were high most of the time though. Just a couple of puffs of that Ray Charles and we were blitzed.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't even smoke anymore. It would just go out and we'd just talk and laugh. And then the guys pull up with their lights on us, and I'm looking, and they even have their cell phone light and stuff. And then whenever I first start to move around, they drive past us and stop. And I see one of the lights coming, like it's going behind our vehicle almost. And at this point, we're on a cliff pretty much. The cliff is behind us. There's a road in front of us. And the road goes up, and it turns around and comes back. Those guys made their camp right in the middle of that curb. That's where they were hanging out at. That's where they built a big giant fire. And whenever I saw that light coming back around that way, I got out. And they have a fire burning over there. You know, in the distance, there's a cliff right here, and they're kind of right here. And they're getting this big log for a big fire. And so I go over to see if I could help them, and they had just put it in the vehicle. It was quite a distance to go walk over to them. They didn't see me coming. I kind of spooked them. And the guy was like, oh, hey, we're going to go tomorrow to the sand dunes. We can be your guide. And I said, okay, I'll have to talk to my wife about it. And they kind of looked at each other in a certain way, an uncomfortable feeling. they even asked me, "Are you the only one here at the park?" And I was like, I don't know. Like, I hadn't really checked. And they were like, "Oh, okay, cool." Huh. Like, so I went back, and me and Otto stayed up because we had took a nap, for the most part of that day. So we stayed up, and then right around 11 o'clock, we're watching them burn fire and stuff pretty much the whole time, just hanging out. Well, we smoked a little bit more
Yeah.
of that same joint that we had brought up there. And we were kind of hanging out, start kind of feeling like, huh. And then the lights turned on in the only way out. Like it was a set of headlights, or maybe they pulled up and they just stopped right there, right where those boys were earlier, with their headlights at our vehicle. And we sat there and we were kind of watching that. And as soon as that happens, these boys start hollering, like make a weird holler, Otto. Very spine tingling. Up there in the mountains by yourself, and now you got people on both sides of you that almost seem to know each other. Because, like, as soon as they pulled up, you heard a dude yell, "Hoo-wee!" Something crazy like that. Like, "Whoa! Yeah!" Like, "Now we're cooking!" Type of thing. Like, so I told Otto, maybe I should go and take those guys up on that sand dune offer. So I walk over and I tell her, just stay put, just hold on a second. Because now, so we split up because we're surrounded. I go towards this boy. He's yelling, "Whore! Whore! Whore!" Like towards us. And he can't see me walking up. And then the dogs start barking. And he starts to panic. And I walk up to him. He's like, "Oh, hey, I dropped my sword over here because I saw it was you." And I'm like, "Oh, your sword? That's cool." And he's like, "Oh, it's not a real sword. It's a, whenever I saw it was you, I thought I didn't need it." And he was real panicked. And I was like, "Hey, I think it's that right there." And I thought I saw a sword. He picked up a stick, and when he saw it was a stick, he dropped it like it was a snake, just panicked. And I saw his actual sword. I said, "Hey, there it is, man. Like, relax." And he picked it up, and he was just, like, real confident all of a sudden. Like, "Oh, yeah, whenever I saw it was you." And I'm, like, standing there like, okay. "Hey, Otto, I need you to get the car and turn it back into a car from a camper and meet me over here." And way in the distance, you hear her say, "What?" And I say, "Turn the car into a camper. I mean, turn the camper back into a car and come see." "Okay. I love you. Love you." And I turn to this dude, and he's like out of his mind. And he reads my shirt that says that our God is an awesome God. And he starts, "Oh, yeah, I don't believe in God. Matter of fact, I'm like he's like real creeped out. And I'm like, and he's like, "But Brad, he believes in God." I'm like, "Okay, cool." He's like, "You're not going to like me very much." I'm like, "Actually, I like you quite a bit already. Like, I think you're the coolest guy I've met in a long time." Like, very cool. And matter of fact, his conversation was so cool. I was like, "Hey, can we videotape you?" But Otto, she did videotape, but I think that she was a little too nervous to actually point the camera at the guy, with probably good reason, after what ended up taking place. Otto ended up driving up, right, Otto? The fellow put away the knife, put it against a tree, and offered us drink and smoke and stuff. Or he didn't have any smoke, but I offered to smoke with him. We smoked some myrrh and some pineapple kush, which is a sativa dominant, and we smoked some myrrh resin with the guy. The guy started to talk about death a lot, and he started to
way too much.
Have a bunch of like what ifs and when you die tonight. I mean, if you were to die tonight, what do you think would happen? And certainly I must condemn the homosexuals. And I'm like answering all these questions like no. And he's like, "Oh, if I'm raping your son and just having sex with," because he asked if I had a son or if I had any children. And I was like, "Yeah, I have this little boy. Little Joe's 5." And he's like, "Oh, really? What if I was to just be having sex with little Joe? Like, wouldn't you want to hurt me?" I'm like, "Not necessarily. Like, I wouldn't want, little Joe." And I explained to the guy, little Joe's with his mother right now in Wisconsin. So, and he's like, oh, he's not here. And it was real creepy. His buddy stayed in the car as soon as we got there, and he vomited a few times, right, Otto? He claimed to be drunk.
Like, extremely drunk.
And at one point, the guy actually, told me in the very near future, or something along these lines, in the near future, not playing right now, not hypothetical, in the near future, you're going to be tied up to that picnic table over there, and they're going to be cutting your head open. In the near future. Not joking. And I was like, no, they're not. And he was like, huh? What? Huh? What? Why not? I'm like, we're protected. He's like, protected? He's protected. Protected by who? By what? I said, we're protected by the Almighty. And he was like, oh, this I gotta see. I can't wait. And then he started to get real hyped up. He asked Otto some questions. He was like really, really cross-examining everything as far as what was the purpose of life, about the true God. At one point, we made him super upset by telling him you cannot divide one evenly, because he was trying to use numbers to dispute the truth of God. Right, Otto?
Yeah. No, that you can't divide something into 3 evenly.
No, but at first, before I had brought that up, he was trying to use numbers to claim that God didn't exist. And I was like, well, that's not true, because numbers aren't correct. Numbers are not 100% legitimate. So they can't dispute a perfect God, because they're not perfect. And I told him you can't divide 1 evenly by 3. It's impossible. You'll always have that one thing. And he lost his mind over that, right, Otto? And then we smoked myrrh with him, and he was real creeped out at myrrh. And like I said, he pretty much openly threatened me. He kept looking over my shoulder at other people was around. Okay, now this is where it gets creepy, right, Otto? So now Otto needs to use the bathroom, and we're kind of leaving quick as soon as we smoked that myrrh with him. He got lit, like way out of his mind, confused and stuff. Like he thought it was like the best stuff ever, right?
Yeah.
He really thought it was powerful. He was terrified of it even. I was like, we gotta break it in little pieces. He's like, see, little pieces. This stuff is real strong. We gotta be careful. Like, he was, and then he even told me, I have a guarantee I'm not dying tonight. I was like, okay. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna die tonight. I'm not really worried about that. Like, why are you so worried about death all the time, Chris? Just lighten up. And he was out of his mind. Like, he offended us several times in a row. He tried his best to offend us, really. Like, he never really offended us, but he did try real hard to get some kind of rise out of me, some kind of anger or anything. And I just tried to be respectful of the guy. Kind of felt like something wasn't right. Anyway, long story short, we ended up getting into the PT Cruiser, driving off. Every single campsite in that place had a vehicle in it. Right, Otto?
Yeah, but no people in the vehicles.
No people in the vehicles and no tents anywhere.
And no stuff around the vehicles either.
No stuff. Panicked out of our mind at that point. Otto's still goofy as all hell, just talking about needing to go pee. And I'm like, hey man, at this point, like, we need to pass up the bathrooms.
I wasn't picking up a lot of this stuff until afterwards.
At first she wasn't, but she actually, after thinking about it, and then after what we heard next from the forest ranger, Ranger Garcia, and also from the BLM headquarters and everything, apparently we need to have reported this, because this isn't the first kind of report about this, and these people are on the loose. And we actually had an encounter with some people who very well could have been behind certain things that's been going on in that area, and it's already being investigated, right, Otto?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say our lives are in danger or ever were in danger, because like I told that fellow, we thoroughly believe that we're protected by the Almighty. Yeah. And so that being the case, he doesn't scare us at all. He almost entertained us. Like, it was very... But we know when to leave. And we did leave with... you could cut it, Otto.